Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior. And this was created out of our personal journey and experience of doing time.
Well, not the word. The TYRO program was created out of our own personal experience. Ron and I did 15 years of prison together. Ron doing time on the inside, and the children and I doing the time on the outside.
And out of that experience, we were able to create a curriculum that not only empowered us, but helped transform our lives, but now we are able to transform hundreds of lives throughout the United States with TYRO.
Hundreds of thousands of lives.
That's right.
So what we have done is we've been able to take those principles and those precepts that we learned and actually help people coming behind us. And so we hope that as you join us today, that you're going to learn something that's really going to help you in your journey towards establishing a brand new legacy, a brand new foundation for you and your family.
You know, one of the things we really stress on TYRO TV and throughout the United States and across the world is that there's life after penitentiary. And that's what TYRO brings. It gives you the skills and the know-how on what it takes to make it after you get out of the penitentiary. You know, we already know there's a label on you, there's some stigma, and there's a lot of things that you got to overcome. But to have the tools and have that type of grit and understanding that's going to take you from that place to a place of success, and that's what TYRO is all about.
So it's not just life after penitentiary. We're going to actually give you tips and tools how you can actually live the fullest life even in the midst of your journey through prison. Because you can't wait till you get on the other side to actually begin practicing new principles. And so today we're actually going to talk to you and share with you how prison saved our marriage. Sounds crazy, right?
You know what? And we hear this a lot. Oh yeah, you go to prison and that, you know, and you've gotten all this. And I tell you what, man, it was prison that literally, as Cathy said, saved our marriage. Because where we would be today if we did not experience what we experienced, man, I don't even want to imagine it. You know what? I can't imagine not being able to see my kids. I can't imagine not being able to see Cathy. But the penitentiary, you know, they say what doesn't kill you will what?
Make you stronger.
And that's what happened with us.
It will either make you bitter or make you better. And so today we're going to really share with you, like, what are we talking about when we say it saved our marriage, how and why that's important, and what you can do to actually strengthen your relationship and transform your family.
So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this episode. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions. To own it, you'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we're going to talk about prison saved our marriage. You know, and that's crazy, right? How does penitentiary save a couple, save a family, and keep them together? And that's what we're going to talk. What is it? What is a marriage inside prison?
Well, even beyond that, like, so what is a marriage inside prison? But also, what was your relationship like before you got into prison? Because most of the time, most of the people we encounter have the same story as we had. And that means you're on the rocks. Like, your relationship was almost completely disintegrated before you even got to prison. So you can't really say, oh gosh, well, prison is wrecking my marriage. Because the truth is, your marriage, your relationship was probably already wrecked and completely shipwrecked and broken down and sinking like the Titanic before you ever even step foot in that prison.
And that's a hard reality to embrace, and the truth that I think every husband or every father, and if you were in a relationship before you went to prison, what did it really look like? Was it healthy? Was there domestic violence? Was there what type of issues that you were experiencing and drama that you were creating?
Right, and self-centeredness and selfishness. So when we look back, before Ron ever went to prison, I did not like him. I mean, I did not like this man. I was married to him, and we had children together, but he was self-centered, he was selfish, he was a jerk. It was all about him. It was awful.
It's all about me. In today's world, you know what? We have a thing called, I want to just say this, selfies, you know, and we have to be really careful, you know, that narcissism. And I firmly believe that everybody who goes to prison has a degree, and sometimes a great degree of narcissism. That means it's all about who? It's all about me, right?
So when we talk about prison saved our marriage, it wasn't like, okay, well, we had the pretty good marriage and then Ron went to prison, and so then it just made our marriage better. What we're really talking about is a really dysfunctional relationship. And so going from a place of having all this dysfunction around to waking up. So prison created this wake up experience for us. But the brokenness didn't happen as a result of the prison. The brokenness already existed. And I'm going to say prison was a result of the brokenness that was in everything that we were experiencing in that period of our life.
You know, that's a great way to put it, Cathy, that, you know, prison, when we say prison saved our marriage, it brought healing to our marriage. Prison brought understanding to our marriage. Prison brought a clarity to the world we were creating for our children. And prior to penitentiary, our world was filled with chaos. It was filled with dysfunction. It was filled with unbelief. It was filled with where we couldn't be taken at our word. It was filled with hell.
Drama, right? When you say, well, drama queen, oh my gosh, we were king and queen of drama before Ron went to prison.
Well, we were grown-ups with little children issues. We're playing house, right? We have a saying at TYRO, you know, real men don't play house. We build them.
But at that time, we were totally playing house, and so everything was personal. If I said anything, Ron took it personal. It was all about him. If he said anything to me, I took it personal. It was all about me. And so it was just this constant conflict in our relationship. We couldn't communicate. The only time that we were really enjoying each other is when we had a lot of other people around us. And then it was sort of like a facade. But take everybody out and leave us alone in a room, and it was just this, ugly.
Well, the only time we were good with each other is where? When all the lights were off and it was just me and you, babe. Right?
Okay.
Hey. Right? But, you know, people can get along so great in the bedroom, but in real life, outside of that, it's chaos. And I think a lot of our childhood behaviors stem from that. We're grown-ups, but we're not really living life.
And you can't you can't build a healthy relationship around sex. You have so much more in a relationship, so many other things that are so much more important than just sex. And so now here's a perfect opportunity as Ron goes to prison for us to figure out what we really wanted in this relationship, because sex is taken out of the picture.
Yep.
And so when we
Totally out of the picture,
right? No sex. And so it was like, okay, so now what? We don't have the drama, we don't have the sex, and so now we have to learn to communicate and figure out what we really want with this relationship as we move beyond prison and into a place of a real connection.
You know, and it's an amazing journey that we went through, and I'm so thankful that we went through it. You know, that's a hard place to even come to a place where, wow, I am so thankful that we were able to not only go through this journey, but we went through it together.
Right.
You know, I didn't go through this journey by myself and come to a place in my life by myself. And Cathy didn't do that either with her and the kids. It was a journey that we were parallel walking together as we were evolving and waking up
as equals. And this is really, really important. So, you know, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about why it's so important to let this experience transform your relationship. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we're talking about prison saved our marriage. And when I say that, I don't even say that lightly because, and I know a lot of people, yeah, right, man, prison didn't save your marriage. Prison literally saved our marriage. If it wasn't for the timeout, big people timeout that I had experienced, right, I wouldn't have been able to really re-examine the life I was creating, not only for me, but for Cathy and the kids, right? And prison saved our marriage because it put us in a place of where we can really examine what do we want? What do we want out of life?
Right. And why is it even important to have a healthy relationship? Why did we even care? And so as Ron went to prison, here we were faced and we were confronted. Now, Ron went to prison for something he didn't do, but that certainly doesn't mean he wasn't making a ton of bad choices and doing a lot of other crazy stuff. And so he was there, right?
You know what? And that was a hard place to be because as I'm kicking and screaming, hey, I'm innocent, I came to a terms and realized, you know what? I wasn't being a man of honor. I wasn't being a man of good character. I had the repo man come to my house, so I wasn't paying my bills.
I'm getting
right?
high,
I
getting
was,
drunk.
Doing all types of sucker stuff that lames do instead of being a man of honor, man of good character. So, no wonder I couldn't be taken at my word, right? And that's a reality that I had to really come to and embrace and accept. And once I came to that term, this is how, when we talk about what do you mean, what prison saved your marriage? When you come into the truth of the reality you created, right? Nothing happens by chance. There are no mistakes. There are no accidents. Things happen for a reason. And the reason that we believe we went through this journey, why did prison save our marriage? How did this happen? What was it? To create the world that we get to live in now and to help others achieve their dreams and ambitions despite what their experiences are.
So when we're talking about why is it important for you to really focus on your relationships right now, one of the key indicators or predictors of your success later is how stable your relationships are. So if you have kids, even if you're not in a married relationship, it is vital that you connect and that you build a healthy rapport with the mother of your children. And if you are in a romantic relationship, it is all out, everything, every bit of energy that you have, you should be putting towards making sure that that relationship is stable because that is the foundation for your future and your future legacy, your children's future. And it is so important because if you're in a healthy relationship, you are much more likely to be healthier physically. You are much more likely to get a good job and keep your job. You're much more likely to be financially successful. So if you want to continue, if you want to be poor, if you want to be broke, if you want to not be successful at work, then don't care about your relationships. Put all your energy into learning how to play chess or put all your energy into learning something else. But if you want to be successful, then you've got to engage in and you've got to invest in your relationships.
We're talking about why this is important, why prison can save your marriage. Prison can save your relationship with your children. Prison can do this for you. Prison is an amazing place if you look at it for really what it is. Yeah, okay, there are a lot of rules you follow. Yeah, people are telling you to lock down. People are telling you when to wake up, when to go to bed, turn out the lights, all these type of things. That's part of a penitentiary. Now, and when you really understand the impact that this is having on your life, it's meant to make you better, not bitter. But grown-ups with little children issues are always kicking the can down the road. They're not in picking up the can, right? Pick it up. You see a can, don't kick it down the road. Pick it up. And that means in life, pick up this experience, embrace this experience. You know what? It gets me up early in the morning. I'm changing my habits, right? It makes me make my bed in the morning, changing my habits. Being able to take the rules that come to my life, changing the way I'm thinking about life. Because apparently before I went to prison, our relationship was total chaos. But now I got time to think, I learned how to write letters, learn how to communicate effectively on a phone call. I got 15 minutes, and I'm not gonna argue with Cathy. I'm not gonna argue with the kids. I wanna make it really fruitful. You know, why is this important? Because this is what's gonna help you become successful while you're still there and when you get home.
So as you begin to build your relationships healthy inside there, the transition back out into society is so much easier. When we work with men and we work with women that are in prison and incarcerated, those that have really broken up relationships and they go home, it is much harder for them to become successful in society. Those that begin to invest in healthy relationships while they're still there, and I'm talking with their family members, with their children, with their spouse, then they make the transition much more smoothly back out into the community and much more successfully. So if you're in a relationship and you've got, you've been with this woman or with this man and you've got children together, then invest in that relationship. Build stability around your family. As you begin to practice those principles within your family unit, those become much easier to practice outside into your community, into your workplace, and then you can learn to be a leader, a strong leader in all those areas. But if you refuse to invest in your relationship and you think that brokenness there is not going to infect you in every other area, you are lying to yourself. You are just believing a lie.
So listen, fellas, when you're home or when you're inside the penitentiary, and when Cathy's saying invest, we're talking about the letter writing. We're talking about studying while you're there. We're talking about surrounding yourselves, or we're going to talk about the how-to when we come back. But this is why it's so important that you embrace the experience you're having right now, because you're learning things inside the penitentiary, the key principles, when you're going to be able to transcend from that little micro universe into the macro universe by holding down a job. When you get out, you got to get a job. But if you haven't been practicing discipline in there, if you haven't been really understanding and investing in your children, and you get home and you think you're going to just invest in your kids right from the moment you get home, that ain't gonna happen. They're gonna say, where were you all this time? They're gonna wonder, why didn't you write us while you were in there? Now all of a sudden you wanna have a relationship with us, but where were you while you were there? You could have called us, you could have sent a letter. And if you're not practicing those things out there, and then all of a sudden you wanna get into the game when you get home, guess what? They're gonna bench you. And that's a hard place to be, when your family benches you because you weren't there investing in it when you were there.
So when we come back, we're gonna give you some tips and tools, tell you exactly how you can cause prison to make your marriage better. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man. Learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we're talking about how prison saved our marriage, and it can save yours too.
You know, this is an awesome topic for us. I really enjoyed talking about it because this was a pivot in our life. This was a game changer. Penitentiary is a game changer. And you can either come out one of two ways. You can either come out bitter or better. And we rejoice every day that this experience didn't make us bitter, but it made us better.
And the thing is, it's not just what happens to you that makes the decision for you on whether or not you'll be better or bitter. What is causing you to become better is that you decide that you are going to use this circumstance to cause you to become better. And as you strive, you build all this resiliency. You become, you develop fortitude. And it's like, you know what? Nothing is going to take me down. I am going to come out the other side of this better. And so you have to first attack that mind battle so that you know what you're in charge of.
And and it's a scary place to be when you're in an unknown environment.
Right.
But you know what? When you find that strength, that fire within you, and you begin to rise up to the occasion, you know what? I'm not gonna let this place dictate my future. I'm gonna allow it to catapult me to a great future. I'm gonna learn everything I can because of the mistakes I made. I'm gonna learn from them, and they're not gonna no longer become labeled as mistakes, but life lessons.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And
That's
these
right.
lessons have taught me how to be a great husband, have taught me how to be a great dad, have taught me how to be a great boss, how to taught me to be an employer, a great whatever that is for you, right? Allow this experience to make you that great person that you know you can be.
So this is not a final failure. Because you're in prison does not mean, oh, my marriage is over, my relationships are over, there's nothing I can do. Instead, flip that and say, wow, this is a great time for me to take a step back and really think about what do I want to invest in this relationship so that I can actually transform it into something that I'm thriving in instead of something that feels like it's suffocating me. And so now we're going to give you some top tips and tools, things that actually transformed our marriage and many, many others that we have been working with. So number one, write letters. I don't care if you have JPay. I don't care if you have phone calls. Write letters.
That's a great point. JPay, phone calls. Writing letters, we talked about that earlier. But that is so vital because what happens is when your children, your wife, the people you're writing, when they pick that up, the first thing is they see that you care. They see that you took the time to take a letter. Now, don't write in the letter, please send me $20, right? They want to hear it, right? They don't want to hear that.
Not in every letter, anyway.
Maybe once in a while, but I know, it took me a little bit to figure out, man, every letter I'm sending home, I'm asking for money. Send some letters where you're not asking for nothing, but you're giving them something. Just giving them your story, what you're experiencing. How do you empower your kids with letters? How do you raise them up with letters? And your letters have to say, I love you. You are the best. I'm believing in you. Because one thing that Dad, that you can become inside the penitentiary for your children is their number one cheerleader. That's your job, is to raise them up and cheer them on, to tell them that they can accomplish anything that they set their mind to, and you're here to root them on.
So when we talk about writing letters, I love what you said. It's something tangible that they can hang on to. So still send them JPay because it's fun to open up and see
Not
an
JP.
email. JPay, that's right. But having a letter is a completely different experience. And so if you're trying to really rescue a relationship, you don't want to just be sending JPay emails. Everybody sends an email. Very rarely do we walk out to our email anymore, or to our mailbox, to our actual real mailbox, and hold a tangible letter, open it up, and actually get to see handwriting. So write letters. That's number one tip.
Number two, right, is check yourself. In other words, really check yourself the way you're thinking. Is everything still about you? Are you still walking with the chip on the shoulder? Are you still believing that you're all that in a bag of chips and then some, right? Because if you're still walking with that mindset, you're forgetting, or you haven't been humbled enough, right, to your reality that you're in the penitentiary. Right? You've been taken out of the game. You've been putting big people time out. You're not paying the bills anymore. Somebody else is buying you toilet paper. And when you start to really examine what got us here, what got me, got you right where you're at, you begin to really come to a place of humility. So check the way you're thinking, because if you think you're still all that and you're still trying to be the shot caller, right, in your
Or the
family,
manipulator, right? Everything's personal. Everything's about you. If they were there when you called, or they weren't there, it's all about you. If they come visit you when you want them, if they're late, if they're early, it's all about you. And you always find reasons to be angry. It's not everybody else. It's you. It's the way you're thinking. It's the perspective through which you're viewing life. You have to switch perspectives and decide kindness is the most important gift you can give to your entire family. Be kind at all times. And if you just change that, just that one thing, you will see a spark that you can't even imagine happen in your relationship.
It's amazing. Even when you practice that inside, right? When you practice that inside and projecting that to your family, projecting this type of kindness that you're not going to take things personal. You're not going to get upset with them if they're late. They didn't answer the phone. You're going to practice this because practice makes what? Permanent. Not perfect. Practice makes permanent. And this will take you far, I promise you.
So number 3 is examine your relationships inside there, because those relationships are either influencing you in a positive way or influencing you in a negative way. And so it's either adding value to you so that you can add value to your relationships with your spouse, or it's creating more mind battles and actually detracting from you. And so if you're looking around and you're hanging out with a bunch of lames, a bunch of people that are guys or girls that are giving you terrible advice on your relationship, then you've got to sever those ties. I remember Ron used to call and he used to say, well, this is what I think. And I'm like, where did you get that? Well, one of the guys in here, he told me I need to put my foot down. I'm like, okay, well, is he in a relationship? No. And so if it's not working for him, what makes you think it's going to work for you?
So I was getting my advice from guys who've been married 2, 3 times, because that's...
And with
right?
nobody now.
With nobody now. And so I had to really change my course of direction. Look for men and that were actually maintaining relationships, maintaining that contact with the outside world, right? And try to find and build relationships with them so that they can impart to me the gifts and talents that, how are you doing it? How are you getting your wife to come and see you? How are you strengthening and growing in your relationship despite not being home? Right? And so becoming a student and learning from men who have already got there and done that and still doing time, but they're still in a healthy relationship, that's what I want to look like. So I had to go find those guys.
All right, because you show me your friends, I will show you your future.
And one more thing I want to add to this, when you examining the garden that you're in, in penitentiary, there's a saying, weed out your garden, right? So listen, man, if you're hanging around guys who are still trying to get you to be a pimp, get you to be a player, get you to hustle in there and do things illegally and things like that, listen, they're not your friends. And you got to have a courageous conversation first with yourself. Is this what I want for my life, my kids? Do I want to go out there still practicing these negative behaviors, these antisocial behaviors when I go out there? Because I guarantee you right now, if you were by yourself and somebody healthy came to you and asked you if you want to become successful, right? And you would answer, yes, I want to become successful. And they were to tell you the first thing you got to do is cut the umbilical cord off of these lanes you're hanging with. Would you have the courage to do it? Would you be strong enough as an individual, as a healthy man to do it? Because that's what it takes. It takes somebody who had that courageous step to say, you know what? When I leave here, I want to have a better life for myself. I never want to come back in here again. You got to change your environment. That's first with the people you hang around with.
And so, and that is a great segue into the next one. So number 4 is build connections. And so not only are you building healthy connections inside, people that think the way that you want to think, people that are living a life the way that you want to see your life lived, but you've got to build those connections on the outside with agencies and individuals and people, whether they're family members or friends or mentors or just people that can help you. The stronger your network, the more successful you're going to be. And that network, you want that network to be supportive of you building a healthy, strong family. Because if you're connecting with people that are despising the relationship you have with your significant other, the mother of your children or your spouse, then you are going to minimize the value of that relationship as well. But when you begin to build that network of friends that also cares about that and tells you invest in that and helps you invest and helps you become better, then you are going to experience so much more success.
You know what? That was great, Cathy, what you just said. So listen, we're going to wrap this all up when we come right back. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine Tiarina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions. to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we're talking about how prison saved our marriage, and it can save yours too.
And that's great right there. You know, we're not an anomaly, man. This didn't just happen to us and not to anybody else. What happened to us and how we were able to become successful despite the label, despite the penitentiary, but we were able to use the penitentiary to catapult us into something great, a whole better world, a better life. And that can happen to you if you do what we tell you to do, right?
That's right. And the first thing is no excuses.
Oh, wait.
So we gave you 4 tools to do. We gave you 4 practical things that you can begin doing right now. Now, no more excuses. Cut the excuses. Because I know it's hard to do what you know is the right thing, but the more that you practice it, the more permanent it becomes. And yes, is it hard work? Yes, it is. But the value is beyond the amount of work that you're going to put into it.
The key thing Cathy said, it's hard work, gentlemen. Listen, if you really want something that you can not only hold in your hand, but you can take and create a legacy with, then it's going to be hard, right? And it's going to be discipline. It's going to be that consistency that you bring to it, right? And you got to practice it now right where you're at so that you can take those skills and these new habits that you've acquired and built up within you, and you can take them to the streets, because there is life after penitentiary. There is health after penitentiary. What Cathy and I have is not an anomaly. It's possible for anybody as long as you're willing to put the work into it. No excuses.
That's right. So we talked a lot about, why it's important, or what we're talking about, the going from the brokenness into prison, and then not looking at prison as saying, you know what, this is going to destroy my marriage, but instead saying, you know what, I was destroying my relationship before I ever got here. Now I have an opportunity to invest in this relationship, to change the way I think, to not take things personally, to invest by writing letters, by hanging out with the right people that are supporting me, by building those connections, and by deciding, you know what, no more excuses. I'm going to do what I know is the right thing to do.
And becoming that father that your children need, even while you're in there. Becoming that father that you know your children need. That's what this is all about.
So we are committed to being on this journey with you. And we hope that something we said today lit a fire in you that says, you know what, I've got to do something different. And so we hope that you will make TYRO TV part of your everyday experience. We hope that you will find a way to connect to the TYRO Dads program so that we can give you even more tips and tools, more support, and more information to help you overcome this.
You know, as Cathy said, I don't want to just read it one more time. We hope that we lit a fire in you that changes the course of your life. Because we believe in you. We believe that you can be the best man you can be despite where you're at. Don't let this be the excuse that keeps you down. Let this be the reason for your success. So always remember, until next time,
that we are rooting for you.